Okay, we have a Season 11 Cup game. This is for the top 8. It's the last top 8 game that hasn't been played yet. And it is going to be Merlin playing Phoenix versus Daidoji Micah playing Crane. And we have Old Box Phoenix as well, which is interesting. So, let me see here. So Merlin has been playing against a lot of dragons this cup. He played against Mind's Desire and Togashi Komal, and he was able to win both of those games. Ooh, wow, we see a Kanjo district. Man, this is a pretty crazy flip here for the Phoenix player. He is running charge. He has the charge bird going on. The thing about Tadaka, though, is that you really want to play him in the Crane matchup. So, well, he's playing Satoshi here, though, so he should be able to get something in the discard pile that he can bring back with this bird if he charges it. But yeah, you definitely want to play Tadaka with like a ton of fate instead of having to bring him back with Fushicho. But that's fine as well if that's what you end up doing. Still pretty good value. Wow, he's actually running 2 Peasant's Advice. I didn't realize that. 1 Offer Testimony. So Phoenix is going to be on Scorpion Splash. He's running 2 Fate Worse Than Death, 2 Mark of Shame, 2 Bayushi Collectors. He only has 2 Ningyos also, interesting. We see a Cautious Scout and a Callow Delegate here. The Crane deck is titled Mystics Suck. He's running 2 Mia Mystics. Seems good. He's on Dragon Splash for 3 Let Go, and Policy Debate is his restricted card. He also has 2 Tattooed Wanderers for his splash. So Phoenix will definitely want to be getting the favor this turn so that he can start using that Kanjo district. He does have to watch out for that Feast or Famine. We see a past conflict, so he hasn't used Satoshi yet. There's not really any reason to use it yet, honestly. Like, the only reason you want to use it is either to get Kanjo District or to get something for this bird. But or the third option would be to get a Satoshi dupe to put an extra fate on him, but since he doesn't have the bird in play yet, he already has the Kanjo District, and it's not the Dynasty phase, there's not really any reason for him to use it right now. It would help make that decision a little bit easier if he... Ooh. So Senpuku Seido, under the Kanjo District there, that's a pretty ideal place to have it. He is again on Old Box, so he can buff his own glory. This is a Cautious Scout attack, though, so this is going to be blank. We see no defense. He has 3 assassinations in his deck. We could see one of those. He definitely doesn't want to see this break, but there is a favorable ground on the Crane side. So you do have to watch out for that. Defending wouldn't even be enough to win either. We do see a fine Katana. So we'll see now if he has the Assassinate. Ooh, he does have it. Nice. There are 3 in the deck, so Micah should not be too surprised by that. He would need to play a conflict character now in order to win this, though, and let's see. He could play Fumiki, actually. No conflict character would get a break here. but he could play a Fumiki or a Menacing Iron Warrior. We do see a Fumiki with 2 Fate as well. Seems good. He's safe from that Assassinate now for the rest of the turn, so you can just put 2 Fate on this. If he's able to dishonor the Satoshi as well, he can potentially favorable ground in and bow it. We see a pass. Discards a 4 Shame at random. That's a pretty good hit. Could be better, but could definitely be worse as well. Let's see. Merlin is going to pass his second conflict opportunity here. So I think the play is he probably either just stands to get favor, or, well, yeah, he probably just stands to get favor. I think Micah should attack Void here, probably. Political Void, especially if you have like a court games or something, he just can't defend this. Because if you have a way to dishonor Satoshi here, you can just move in the Fumiki and bow him. What did I miss? Not too much. We're still on turn 1 here. Merlin has just been standing up the Satoshi, hoping to get the favor since he has this Kanjo district. And yeah, I think we might actually just see him not defend this, to be honest. Because if you don't defend, you're guaranteed to get favor, and there's no way that Crane can break this, right? So yeah, no defense, just take the favor. Your Satoshi gets voided. Would have been nice if he had another fate on him, but not the end of the world. If he has a display of power, he could play that as well. Nope, I'm just gonna take the hit there. Ooh, wow. That is a massive Satoshi mill. It doesn't tell you how many cards it was, I guess, anymore. I don't think there was anything in the discard pile, though, so 27 cards. That is a lot. Probably not really what he was hoping for there. But I think the only Imperial cards left in his deck were just the other Satoshis. Right? Let's see. Yeah, it was just the other Satoshis, so not really terribly unlucky there. And I mean, 8 cards is still manageable. He has the favor now for the Kanjo district as well. The Kalo delegate is going to honor the Fumiki. Like, what I'm thinking is Merlin could potentially just like not play any cards from his provinces. Wow, he discards both of these. I figured he would discard the Satoshi. I didn't think he would discard the bird there. What he might have done is he might have looked through his discard pile and gotten a quick idea of what is actually left in his dynasty deck and decided that he wanted those more than the bird. Or maybe he just doesn't have charge. That's possible as well. He does also have to worry about Voice of Honor now. That's a big concern. We see a Yoshi with a duplicate here in another province. But like I was saying, I think Merlin can actually just not play anything out of his provinces here if he wants to. Like, you can probably just pass and you have Kanjo and Fate Worse Than Death. And Micah's at 0 Fate now. Although he can get Fate off of a ring, I guess. But if you have some kind of conflict character, I think he should be fine. This is where we might see Merlin dropping his bid to 1. Okay, he's going to play the Meddling Mediator with 2 Fate. That's a card you don't see too much anymore, except in Dishonor Phoenix decks, which is what this is. If your opponent declares 2 or more conflicts, you get to take a Fate or an Honor from them. Pretty good card. Just doesn't fit in with the typical Shugenja theme that most Phoenix decks have. He's not running any, like... He actually doesn't have Against the Waves, he's running Charge instead, and he doesn't have any Supernatural Storm. So, going for less of the Shugenja theme, more of just a Dishonor theme here. Ooh, wow, and he uses the Yoshi dupe, so Merlin still gets to take the Passing Fate, which feels kind of bad for Micah. But I guess using the Yoshi dupe is pretty valuable, so... Like, you're pretty sure he's going to just pass there, right? Let's see. The Crane deck has 1 Assassinate. Ooh, but Phoenix has 3 Censure, so playing that would be a little bit dangerous unless you have cancels to protect it. Or if you could, like, Policy Debate, maybe. Micah will be first player here. I think we'll probably see him go for... Ooh, he's going for the Air Ring. Interesting. So, again, Merlin had that giant mill there, and he only has 5 cards left in his Dynasty deck. Ooh, interesting. I guess he's basically, like, he doesn't actually really care too much about resolving the airing. I think he just wants to say, okay, you better defend and use your stronghold here, or use the Conjure District. And if he uses the Conjure District, he can still favorable ground in as well, but I don't know if he'll do that. I was about to say, I feel like you go military here, but maybe he's going to try to court games the Mediator so that he can bow it. I think that's probably the only reason to go political, right? He could also force shame. But let's see what happens. Ooh, wow, we see a Mark of Shame. That's pretty strong. So that is going to turn off Voice of Honor. And that actually makes Fumiki a 0-0. But since this is a glory conflict... Okay, yeah, we do see the court games. Let's see if he has a censure. You're probably fine if he censures this, though, right? Like, you just take the censure. So we do see the dishonor go through. Maybe he has his own court games. Getting this conflict win is pretty good. Keeping him at 5 honor or below puts that clock on him because he only has 5 dynasty cards. Especially if you can get like a province break. And then he'll just slowly start bleeding basically towards that reshuffle. So if Merlin... Ooh, we see Offer Testimony. Interesting. I think we might see him reveal a Fate Worse Than Death here. That would pretty much guarantee... What could Crane have? Okay, he reveals Display of Power. Yeah, Display of Power beats pretty much anything Crane has except for a conflict character. So that is going to bow Fumiki. And at this point, either you pass or you bow her and then move in Yoshi. But if you bow her and move in Yoshi, okay, we do see the bow. This actually still loses to a conflict character from Merlin because he hasn't used his stronghold yet. It would have to be a Seeker of Knowledge or a Bayushi Collector, though, since they have one glory. Okay, he's not going to move it in. That's fine. Like, you don't really care about the ring effect, do you? You would move it in if you thought you could get the break, maybe, but just for the air ring, probably not. It looks like they're both just going to pass the rest of their conflicts. Merlin still has one left. If he has a conflict character, like Yoshi is just not going to go into a conflict at this point, right? Because he's just 3 standing glory, and he would get conjured anyway, so you really just want to try and get that favor. I think using Fumiki there was probably a small mistake because you have the favorable grounds. Like, I don't see any reason to spend it there. Probably won't matter. Yes, we see a pass. He still has an opportunity here to play a conflict character. Again, if he does have a 1 glory conflict character, he can get the favor, and he does have one. Wow. So there's nothing Crane can really do about this. 3 fade as well. Yeah, so he will keep the favor there. Yeah, the old Phoenix Stronghold is honestly, like, really good. Um, just the fact that there's, like, not really any other way in the game to modify glory currently makes it pretty powerful. Ooh. Micah finds a lot of holdings here, and a Doji Challenger, not really what he wants to see. I'm pretty sure they both bid 1 last turn, right? Yeah. So they're probably going to be bidding 1 for the rest of the game. Micah does have a bunch of extra honor here that he can spend on assassinates. But since Phoenix is holding on to this favor, he can just sentry them probably. I'm sure he has a sentry in his hand. He did show the display of power. Ooh, wow, 4 Fate Challenger. So yeah, Crane is just basically going to try to outlast him here. He does have that Dynasty Mill clock on the game. And Storehouse will let him keep a pretty good hand size as well. He actually still has 1 library left, it looks like, unless there are only 2. No, there are 3. 1 favorable ground left as well, and no palace. I mean, who needs palace when you have that, right? What else? Seen all three Tadaka. There's Satoshi. Yeah, so 2 of the remaining cards are Library and Favorable Ground. One of them is Kudaka. So we're just missing one other one. Dreamers, Mediators. Is it a Naive Student? No, we've seen all those. Seen all those. It is a Tsuki. So there's one of her, 1 Favorable Grounds, 1 Library, and 1 Kudaka left. And those last 4 cards. Merlin is going to pass his conflict there. So 2 Favorable Grounds is actually pretty good for Crane. Let's see. Gonna go military fire. You definitely want the firing here. Maybe you go at Senpuku Seido with Fumiki and the Challenger. Do you really want to pull somebody in though? I don't know if you do. Just Fumiki maybe? I feel like you should... he's going political again. I feel like you should go military because of the favor, right? But he is going military. Oh, sorry, political. Could have another court games, of course. Merlin does have the display of power. Could just display this. If we see this as a defense, then Merlin will be winning by 1 here. But you do have to watch out for the dishonor. I mean, so far the game seems like it's been pretty boring. Like, Phoenix literally has not attacked yet, and Crane has just been attacking this one province over and over. It's mostly just been a lot of passing and trying to keep control of that favor. Of course, if Merlin does drop to 0 dynasty cards, we'll probably see... He'll probably have to do something at that point. We see no defense pass, so I think this is likely a display of power. I think you should... if you have a Way of the Crane, you should probably honor somebody, or try to at least, so you can Voice of Honor. Yeah, pretty uneventful other than the 27 card mill. That's true. Ooh, okay, he moves in the Doji Challenger, so he is threatening the break here, which Merlin definitely doesn't want. So we might see him use the Conjure District on probably the Challenger. Yeah, you use it on the Challenger, right? I think that's the correct call. Um, he could want to keep it though for censures, but that would mean okay, yeah, we do see it get used. Not using it would mean that the Senpuku Seido gets broken and you lose the Kanjo district, which is like really bad. Because that just means you're gonna mill out that much faster. So Kanjo sends home the Doji Challenger. If Micah really wanted to, he could actually move it back in, which we do see, and now he can pull in this meddling mediator and bow it. So he basically just gets a free bow. He could even pull in like the Tsuki or something, and if he has like a court games or a way to dishonor it and then bow that. Tsuki would be better because it has more glory. Okay, he is just going to move in the mediator though. Ooh, court games to honor a friendly character. That you definitely don't want to see. Okay, he has his own court games. So I guess he was just playing around that to be safe because you do still want to win this conflict. Yeah, so we do see the bow there. Again, not really any reason to bow, but at the same time, not really any reason not to bow because you don't have a favorable grounds this time. We see a Way of the Crane on the Doji Challenger, so he's already turned off the display of power since he pulled in this mediator. Ooh, and he's going to play a policy debate. So this is going to be, I mean, they're both going to bid one, right? Like, you can't afford not to. So let's see what's in his hand. Ooh, consumed by 5 fires. Getting punished for putting 2 on Suki. Yeah, you definitely take the 5 fires. Yeah, unfortunate for Merlin there. He didn't quite have enough fate to play that, so I guess he was waiting until he took a fate off a ring, maybe. But yeah, that means this honored Doji Challenger will be here for a long time. Okay, so that's the conflict win. You probably honor Yoshi. Yeah, you just honor Yoshi, right? I have to imagine that's the correct play. Yep. So yeah, Merlin is in a kind of a bad spot now. He does really want to go for this watering here, so that is what we're going to see. It gives him 2 fate, and it lets him honor his character here. Ooh, he finds Magistrate Station, though. That is pretty good for Crane if he can, as long as he can keep this alive. He knows Merlin doesn't have fate worse than death. Let's see, this is military, so he could charge in Kudaka for +3. But, like, what else can he do, right? That's the only thing, really. So yeah, you just defend this. You pass. Charging doesn't even get him the win, so he'll just pass, I imagine. And then you stand up your challenger, and you actually get favor here. No, you stand up Yoshi, sorry. Because he has more glory, obviously. So yeah, it looks like Micah is in a pretty good spot now. All he has to do basically is like resolve an air ring or get rid of this mediator, and then just wait until Merlin mills out. So yeah, I mean, you can't really do anything about this. Ooh, we see a Steward of Law. Interesting. This is really interesting, actually. So literally the only reason to play Steward of Law is if you're going to attack, which means that Merlin will get to use the Meddling Mediator, which will keep him a little bit safer in terms of honor. I'm actually not really sure why you play the Steward of Law here. What ring is he going for? Earth? Probably Earth, right? Earth or Void? I think Void would be fine too, but Earth seems pretty good. But like, isn't he just going to defend? And you have to go to face down province too. I don't know, we'll see what happens. I mean, obviously there's something that he has in his hand that makes this make more sense. Is a military attack. Yeah, he is going military earth. He finds fertile fields though, so that's going to be a fate and a card for Merlin. Yeah, honestly, I don't really know about this attack. We'll have to see what he has. What could he have? I don't even know, honestly. Like some Four Shames or something. We see no defense. Interesting. We see a bonsai. Okay. Sure. I guess one thing is, like, if Merlin drops another one glory conflict character, he could still actually tie the favor. But if you win this conflict, then he just can't. You get it no matter what. Which does guarantee you those extra card draws next turn. Ooh, and we see the pass, so that will be a province break there. There's the display of power. I have to imagine he voices that. No, he doesn't voice that. Wow, that's actually really crazy to me. So Micah essentially just spent 2 cards for a province break, and Merlin got to draw a card and gain a fate, right? And he has the Seeker of Knowledge. Oh no. Now since he displayed that, he's actually going to get the favor. And Micah saw what was in his hand. Why did he do this? All he had to do was not attack, and then he ties the favor. Like, he knew exactly what was in his hand. I'm pretty confused by that, honestly. I mean, I guess breaking a province does mean that the mill is going to happen a little bit faster now. Did Merlin forget to use Mediator? Hold on. I'm just all kinds of confused right now. Yeah, I think you forgot. So yeah, it seems like a couple of mistakes there on both sides. The good thing though for Micah is that if Merlin plays a card or uses favorable ground, he will die at the end of the turn, which he has done. So he will need to get an air ring now, which seems pretty likely actually. The Kudaka plus Seeker of Knowledge combo is pretty sick. But he'll have to be careful not to use this favorable ground until he gains an honor, or he'll just instantly lose. We see a Narishma. Crane's just going to probably keep playing cards here since Merlin is forced to pass now. He'll play the Delegate, he'll flip something and see if he wants to play it. He has a ton of fate. Sees a Cautious Scout, sure. Uses the Storehouse. Depending on your hand, you could just... I mean, I think you probably play the Calo Delegate, right? Yeah, we do see that. Fortunately, you're pretty safe from Assassinate, since if Merlin assassinates, it's going to be pretty difficult for him to not lose the game at the end of this turn. Yeah, so we do see him just play out everything there. We see Doji Challenger attacking Air. Calo Delegate as well. Man, if he could actually play an attachment on this Mediator, that would be pretty sick to get him next honor at the end of the turn. Doesn't really have anything to do though. So going in with skill 3, we see a defense with skill 3. He does have the favorable ground, but again, he can't actually use that until he gains 1 honor. So I think you have to conjure the Challenger first, or he's gonna pull in your Seeker of Knowledge, right? I guess then he doesn't win. I mean, I think you should probably just conjure the Challenger, honestly. Although that does turn off your Sentries. I guess that's Micah's plan here, is just force him to use Conjure as early as possible so he can't Sentry things. He will get a card in the Fate off of Kudaka, but he won't get the Airing at least. But I mean, like, he can still just attack with Seeker of Knowledge, right? And do it anyway. So, I don't know. If Micah has a 2 Glory Conflict character, which would have to be Menacing Iron Warrior, he can play that and actually still win the conflict. Ooh, Seeker of Knowledge gets moved in. Wow, he used his stronghold on Kudaka as the first action. That's pretty surprising to me. Because now, yeah, the Seeker just gets moved in. If he uses the favorable ground, he dies. Maybe he didn't realize that? Seems like a mistake from Merlin. Although maybe he just wants to keep his sentries turned on, and he'll still have the Conjure District to use later now. So he'll just take the win on defense. This does turn off any kind of potential air rings, though, that Merlin could get, unless he plays another Seeker of Knowledge. Does he have any more? Oh. Wow, this is the first one, actually. Okay. So yeah, he could have another Seeker of Knowledge. He actually went for the military favor, which is interesting because that leaves him susceptible to the Crane Stronghold on a political conflict. Okay, that's going to be it. So Merlin gets the air ring there. Pretty expensive defense, though. And we see the Magistrate Station going to ready the Doji Challenger. Yeah, hitting that Magistrate Station last turn was pretty unlucky. Was it last turn? Might have been a couple turns ago now. Can't actually remember. Yeah, this is something you have to watch out for with Satoshi. If you, like, he only has 4 Imperial cards in his deck, and he had already seen the Kanjo District, so there were only 2 left since there was a Satoshi in play. So, like, the chances that those 2 cards are, like, near the bottom of your deck are actually pretty significant. So you do have to kind of be careful about that. Like, again, the only reason to use Satoshi really was to find something for the Charge Bird to bring back. So I don't really know if he should have used it there. Maybe he was planning on using Charge Bird next turn. But then, like, he discarded the Charge Bird and the Tadaka, so yeah, I don't really know. We see, so Narishima defends this. We see a Feral Ningyo come in. But Magistrate Station was already used this turn, and this is, like, sure, the Water Ring's a little bit unfortunate, but do you really care that much? I guess he gets to honor his, that's not a scholar. He gets to honor his Seeker of Knowledge, but, like, who really cares, right? Like, you're just gonna win this turn. Unless he can gain some more honor somehow. We are seeing the break at this point. Okay, we see a Tattooed Wanderer into the conflict that will prevent the break. If he has an Assassinate, I imagine he's probably saving it to see if another Seeker of Knowledge gets played, because you definitely would want to assassinate that. Crane can't really attack again, actually. Why can't he just move the Seeker in? Because then he dies. He can't use this favorable ground, or he reshuffles and he has 5 honor. If Crane attacks again, that turns on the Meddling Mediator, which will let him steal an honor. That would still be kill range, since the Meddling Mediator is dishonored and is leaving play this turn. Plus, you could get, yeah, I guess you could just, like, attack Firing as Crane. No, actually, what you could do, no, that wouldn't work, because he would steal the honor first. Merlin would be in a much better position, obviously, if, find Katana. He's actually winning the conflict now. If he had just, remembered to use the mediator last turn. It's a bit unfortunate that he didn't remember that. You still have the Conjure District, actually. So you could use that here. That would not get you the break, because you would be losing the military favor. You'd go down to 5, and there would either be a 3 or a 4 left. Ooh, he's just going to pass, though. Going to save that Conjo, but it looks like he's said GG already. Yeah, so it looks like he just doesn't have any way, because he can't win a conflict, probably, right? Only 3 fate, 5 cards, probably not enough. So yeah, he's just going to lose at the end of the turn. Yeah, definitely a little bit of a rough match there for Phoenix. That Satoshi mill was pretty unfortunate for him, but you know, that happens sometimes. That's actually exactly how Mind's Desire lost to Merlin earlier in the cup, so that's kind of funny. But yeah, Merlin did make it to top 8, which is pretty good, so congratulations to him. He almost got top Phoenix. He lost top Phoenix to Evan, so he was second Phoenix. But yeah, Micah will move on to the semifinals, where he will play against Evan, and then the winner of that match will play against either Enagon or Cineal. So we have a crane, a phoenix, a scorpion, and a crab left, which is pretty good diversity, actually, for the semifinals. So we're guaranteed 2 different clans in the semifinals, which is nice as well. Won't be a mirror match. But yeah, good game there. Congratulations again to Micah. And thanks everybody for watching. I'll see you guys next time.